Hey everybody, I got a brand new video for you. It's a GoPro how-to step-by-step on a pool deck. I'm about to walk you through this whole thing, okay? And it's a long video, but hey, if you're gonna spend the time and money on this product, what's an evening watching this video just to make sure you're fully prepared and educated. And as always, give us a call if you need us. My name is Jeff, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn something. I hope it helps you out. So thanks for being here. Thanks for considering Encore Coatings, and call us anytime. Hope you enjoy. Bye-bye. What's up, everybody? It's Jeff with Encore Coatings here, and today we're on a pool deck and I'm gonna do my own little step-by-step. It's not gonna be the best produced film you've ever seen in your life, but I'm gonna take you through this and just kind of think out loud and show you my observations and my thoughts. This is Ryan. He's my future brother-in-law, so we had to hire him. And if you call us, you might talk to Ryan, and he's my little pool deck protege, so he's gonna take care of you. But today we're on a pool out here in Georgia. It's about 2,000 square feet. Got a little outdoor patio going on, a little fireplace, and of course we got this awesome pool here. This concrete's a few months old, okay, which is good. It's had time to cure a little bit. Right now we're trenching out these edges because we want to paint this edge best we can, so we're going along with the shovel and just kind of moving this stuff back. We're knocking off stuff like this just to encourage the best cosmetic result afterwards. We're going to chisel that down a little bit, flat as we can. Taped off some brass fittings for a pool safety cover here. Got some holes where they drilled in the wrong area. We're going to patch those up. We're going to put tape right here so we can paint this coping, or this cantilever, this bull nose. And we're actually going to run plastic out to catch any drips. I'm going to show you that. And you know, this is bare concrete, so and I've already inspected it for, you know, the dreaded calcium powder to make sure this concrete cured right. So if you haven't watched my video on bad concrete and what to watch out for, go give that a look, and I'll link it right here for you. So stay tuned. I got my Triple Crown poured up into a backpack sprayer, a Harbor Freight Tools special. Okay, I got 3 gallons in there. Okay guys, so Triple Crown's the first step. It's cleaner. It's gonna clean, etch, prepare. What you need to watch out for though with Triple Crown is basically anything you're not gonna top coat with Cool, don't touch it with Triple Crown, okay, just to be safe. But it will permanently damage tile, glass, and aluminum. And even if it touches, like, you know, rock like this, I'm gonna be real careful with this. Although it's not gonna really, you know, hurt it, it will clean it, okay? So we wanna be wary of that. It's gonna clean it, and so we wanna be real careful. I'm, you know, definitely gonna be careful by these glass doors. We're gonna tape off those white drains. And that's a common question. Can you paint the plastic? Can you paint the plastic expansion joint covers? Can you paint the plastic drains? Can you paint your, or coat your skim covers, your skimmer covers? You can, I've seen it done. Just keep in mind that it's not gonna bond as well there as it does to bare concrete. So if you get a pressure point, as in sliding furniture, a woman's high heel when she's dancing on the pool deck at night or something like that, it could scrape it off that plastic. Surfaces like PVC, glass, things like that, just really tough for any kind of coating to bond to, but it has been done. Stick around, I'm gonna throw this on my back. Triple Crown is pretty heavy. It's like 10 pounds a gallon. So I got 3 gallons in here. You know, you might want to start off with 1 if that's too heavy for you, but I'm gonna get going. All right guys, I'm really focusing a lot on this area because you can see all the red clay that's on this concrete, okay? And red clay's a big thing here in the southeast, especially Georgia. And Triple Crown will remove red clay and rust from concrete. It's like one of the only things I know of that will do that. Like I said earlier, we don't want to get Triple Crown on anything we're not putting Cool on. And that's a great rule of thumb, because if you don't get Triple Crown on anything that you won't be top coating with Cool, you can't go wrong, right? So right here, it's kind of a windy day today, so I'm really being careful by this glass door. I don't want to get Triple Crown on the glass and we'll etch it. So what I've done is I'll actually just put my nozzle on the ground and just barely touch the trigger and just kind of drag it along the edge to get the edge, instead of, you know, going hog wild with a you know, full throttle on this thing. So that's what I've done, and I'm just kind of making my way around. I've already treated this edge, but I just wanted to show you guys. And we're almost done with this dirty part, and then we'll move to the pool. So just a little information there on Triple Crown. Stay tuned. All right, folks, as I said earlier, we have a cantilevered edge or a cantilevered coping, bullnose coping. Typically this runs down to some tile. Again, Triple Crown will damage tile. So if you have one of these, what I say is just bypass the Triple Crown application on that vertical face, okay? But I still, of course, will hit the top like this, okay? And you see just a little bit of sprinkle is going in the water. Common question there. No big deal if a little bit of Triple Crown gets in your water, okay? Because this is a cousin of muriatic acid. A lot of people add muriatic acid to their pool water anyway, so it's not a big deal. Of course, you don't want to dump an entire sprayer full or an entire gallon into your water, but a little bit in here is no big deal. But I'm almost done here. We're gonna fire up the pressure washer when I'm done. You know, this is about 2,000 square feet, so where I started is already dry. You always want to let Triple Crown completely dry before you pressure wash it off. It's gonna grab all the oils, grab all the dirt, and be ready for you to pressure wash it away. So I'm almost done, and this took about 8 gallons of Triple Crown, almost 2,000 square feet here, so just some perspective for you. Stay tuned. All right, folks, done with the Triple Crown. I'm about to start pressure washing it off. You never want to spray Triple Crown on vegetation, tile, glass. Always the rule of thumb, don't spray it on anything that you're not gonna be top coating it with Cool With. I think I've said that a million times, but I just wanted to reiterate it. I always like to put a tarp down. Look, here's my setup. Got a bunch of Cool here, got all my paint. I would usually get my paint in individual gallons, 1 gallon per bucket. I got the Sherwin-Williams A100 in a satin finish, okay? And we're going with a light gray color, so I know a lot of people wanna see that go down. And we're gonna be making some patches as well out here, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek at our latest product. It's called the Cool Patch, okay? Just a little sneak peek. This is a really high powered patch that you can use for divots and small hairline cracks, but more so for a, you know, a patching scenario. Got my toolbox, and I like to put down a tarp just so we can keep everything clean and prevent spills and drips and things. And you know, once this is clean, I'm going to be really careful not to step in dirt and then back onto the clean substrate. So here it is, got the pressure washer hooked up. We are about to rock and roll with that. So
my dollars make it hurt.
Good morning, everybody. We are on day 2. Yesterday we wrapped up the Triple Crown and pressure washing phase. It's about 7:30 here in Georgia. Today we're gonna have a couple extra guys on site who are part of the pool builder crew, and that's how we kind of got this opportunity to do this video. Is this pool builder is interested in, you know, educating himself and his crew on this product. They've never used it, so we decided to come out on site and help them out and do a little training at the same time. We're sitting at about 50 degrees right now, which is a little too cold, but we still have some taping off to do. We're gonna tape off the coping, do a little taping on the stacked stone that's around the pool or around the house. Just do a little prep work. I gotta sand some patches that we made, make everything nice and tidy. And then we're gonna start cutting in. But I just wanna go over these temperatures real quick. The coldest you ever wanna apply cool is probably 55, and you wouldn't wanna drop under that. And then in the summertime, you really wanna stay at below 82. I'd say once you get above 80, it's gonna become harder to work with than it could be. The things that can make the product hardest to work with is adding the wrong paint. And you should check out our paint recommendations, and I have a video dedicated to choosing paints. You should give that a watch. And the other thing that can make the product harder to work with than it could be is temperatures. Okay, so if it gets too hot outside, the stuff is going to want to dry quick. It's a quick drying product to begin with. So if it's hot outside and you start your project at noon, lunchtime, you know, the sun has had time to heat up that concrete, and it could be, you know, pushing 95 to 100 degrees, and it's just going to cook the product from the bottom, and then it's also getting cooked from the top too, from the sun. So you want to get out there, you know, early in the morning when you're above 55 and begin your first coat, or perhaps you can start your first coat in an evening when the sun is, you know, you have less direct sunlight and things like that. When we get here, I'm going to go over a parts list for you guys, go over, you know, what size rollers you should use for the cool, what size rollers you should use for the seal back sealer, which is the third and final step. But stay tuned, and we're going to be applying a light gray color around this deck, and I know everybody's into the light grays nowadays, at least around here. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Bye. All right, everybody, I'm gonna run through a little parts list for you just so you can be ready when you go to the store. Perhaps when you get your paint, that'd be a great time to get your rollers and your brushes and everything like that. So for the cool product, we recommend a 3/4 inch nap roller. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, a nap roller just kind of looks like this. You don't want to mess with any kind of foam roller or textured roller or anything like that. Now, a 3/4 inch nap roller, it's a pretty big roller, okay? You'd never use this to paint an interior wall. Furthermore, you'd never have your roller dripping wet when you're painting an interior wall, right? This is the exact opposite, okay? When you're applying cool, you're gonna be dipping this thing right into the bucket, submerging it in product, and when you put it to the concrete or your surface, it is gonna be dripping wet, and you're applying 2 good wet coats of cool, okay? So this is a 3/4 inch nap roller. It's your standard 9-inch roller, which of course would go on your typical 9-inch roller frame, right? For the seal back sealer, I really like to stick with the 3/8 inch. Same type of material, but this is a 3/8 inch nap roller. It's a little thinner, okay? Because whereas you have 2 good coats of cool before it gets too hot, with a 3/4 inch nap roller, when it comes to the sealer, the seal back, you need 2 thin coats of seal back during the hottest part of the day. And the reason for that is that the seal back has a lot of water in it, okay? All these products are water-based. Therefore, to cure correctly, it's a matter of evaporation. That water in the product is leaving the product, and it leaves the solids on the surface, okay? The seal back has a lot of water in it. So therefore, your temperatures and your conditions need to be conducive for evaporating water, okay? So the cool and the seal back are kind of opposites. Where you have 2 good coats of cool before it gets too hot, you're gonna have 2 very thin coats of seal back during the hottest part of the day. The sealer likes the bright sunshine, it likes the direct sunlight. So also what you need to have on hand is these mini rollers, okay? What I call like a cigar roller or a hot dog roller. These are little 4-inch long. These are 3/4 inch thick nap rollers though, okay? You will need to get the appropriate roller frame though, okay? Of course, to fit these. And these are good for cutting in around the perimeter, getting those tight spots perhaps. but of course you want to have some brushes on hand too. I like to have an angled brush, and this is going to come in real handy for the real tight spots, like around the stacked stone and things where I need to get under some crevices and things. Have some brushes on hand. If you're on a big job, they do make 18-inch wide rollers, okay? So if you're a contractor or someone who's going to be doing a large project, consider one of those 18-inch long rollers like this. But then of course you'd have to have one of those troughs that you'd pour your product into to accommodate that 18-inch long rollers. Blend up the cool kits. This is what I call like a squirrel cage mixer. I love these things, okay? They do a very effective job mixing up the cool. And this of course just goes into your battery drill. If you have a bigger drill that you plug into the wall, of course that's okay, but this will do just fine. So I have this on site. I have an extra battery just in case one goes dead. You know, I'm very prepared out here. Got my big toolbox. But we're gonna jump into this. I got a little, I'm gonna sand some patches down, blow the deck off. You know, there's some leaves and things that have accumulated on the deck just since yesterday. So we're gonna get up to like 80 degrees today, so that's perfect. You know, it's like 52, 53, and it's gonna rise up to 80 and stay there. So this is just a beautiful day to do this. I hope you learned something, so stay tuned. All right guys, we're out here. We're prepping our plastic. We're cutting this into, you know, a couple foot wide sheets, and then we're attaching it to tape. And if you have this cantilever pool deck, or this cantilever coping, it's a great idea, okay? And of course, now I can just bring that mini roller I showed you, get a good couple coats on this vertical face, and any drips will be caught by this plastic. You know, see this plastic is really lightweight. I think it's 0.4 mils thick, and that's what you want. You don't want anything too thick. Thinner the better, I believe. You can also use bubble wrap, but bubble wrap is more expensive. So this stuff is easily found at Sherwin-Williams or any hardware store, any big box store, but we're gonna make our way around the whole thing here, and we're gonna be good to go. There's only one way in and one way out of this pool deck, so you gotta have a plan. You know, we're probably gonna start on that back corner. What I wanna do first is get my first coat on this, because here in a minute, this is not gonna see any more sunlight. So my plan is to cut this in first. These guys will probably start cutting in over there. And then once I'm done cutting in here, I'm gonna begin rolling my first coat. Okay, so before I roll my first coat though, Ryan is gonna grab all the materials we need and bring it in here. So these guys are occupied, you know, so they're gonna have everything they need in here. We're all in socks, so we don't dirty up the deck. There's a lot of red clay around here. So we're just being super diligent. Made a little walkway so we can access the deck without, you know, getting it all muddy. So my plan is to cut this in, put the first coat on, then I can move inside to help these guys, and we can work our way, and we're gonna just do 2 coats. We're gonna start over here, come around with our first coat, leave a pathway so we can exit, and then go back around, and then you know, start over here again, first coat. Hopefully by that time we can just start where we or pick up where we left off, where we started over here, start with our second coat, and we're gonna complete 2 coats out here. And then that way we can walk back out here. This is gonna be dry by then, you know, it's 3 or 4 hours away. And the first coat here is gonna be dry, and we can exit the job by applying the second coat here. I might have time to apply the seal back today. It's gonna be warm enough. If it was in the 60s or 70s, I would prefer just not to agitate the 2 coats of cool that are just so fresh, and you know, the sealer has a lot of water in it. So if you're in the 60s and 70s, I would suggest maybe, you know, if you're in the 60s, I'd suggest just splitting your coats of cool into 2 different days, so each coat has, you know, enough time to dry in those lower temperatures. But we'll play it by ear, you know. I might apply the sealer today, I might not, so stay tuned. All right guys, I'm gonna start mixing up some product here. I'm gonna mix up the first bucket. I got some little cups that I can, you know, pour into, and they're less cumbersome to, you know, carry around the deck while you're cutting in. Every unit of cool now is coming with this "Are you prepared" sticker. What you have here is first of all, a QR code that you can view all of our videos, which is just a gold mine of information, answers a lot of questions. So just take out your phone, open up your camera, and scan that thing, and it'll take you to the Encore Coatings University YouTube channel. Also, what's on here is just, hey, are you prepared? 1, 2, 3, triple crown, cool, and sealer. We did the triple crown yesterday. And it says on here, this bucket requires 1 gallon of paint for tint and activation. Do you have the correct paint? That's a big thing. So look on our paint chart. Today I'm using the Sherwin-Williams A100. Okay, very affordable stuff. 100% acrylic paint, no primer in here. That does matter a lot of times. And like I said, go watch my picking or choosing paint video. Apply within 50 to 80 degrees. Okay, 50 is a little cold in my opinion. I'd like to be above 55. 80 is a little conservative. You know, I'd say 82, 83. If it's too hot, the water in the product will want to evaporate and cook out of here too quickly. Okay, which can affect your texture, can cause irregularities in the final texture. And the whole purpose of the water in this product is to sink into the substrate and grab a hold, really. And its job is to eventually evaporate and leave the solids on the surface, so you have a good, nice finish there. If the water doesn't have the chance to do that because it's too hot and it's evaporating too quickly, you're simply left with a bunch of solids on the surface for a subpar bond. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. I'm gonna go ahead and break into this thing. There's a little sheet here, just goes over tools, some instructions on the back. And what you have in here is a part A and a part B system. Starting with a jug of liquid resin. This is the backbone of the formula here. I have another video that explains what these two things are. They are harmless. This is water-based. This won't hurt you. But I'll plug that video in here and you can hear me talk about what exactly this is. This is a high-powered resin system, okay, that is elastic. If you were to dry this out by itself, it'd be clear, plastic-like substance that can stretch several times its own size. It'd be difficult to stretch, but it would stretch, and more importantly, it would return to its original size. So it's good about emulating the natural movement of the concrete. Okay, big thing. This is a bag of powder, about 14 pounds, and it's got your texture, your cooling additives, durability components, all that good stuff. And you want to use 100% of what we give you. So I go over a lot of that stuff in my other GoPro seminar, which also talks about spraying for decorative textures. If you're not planning on using a hopper gun, you probably don't even know what a hopper gun is. So if you want to watch that video, just ignore the spray part, but it goes over a lot of good techniques and stuff. So I'm gonna get going. This color is called Repose Gray. Okay, give you a quick look at it. Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a little trick. Something to help you get what you pay for and encourage a good color match. I always like to start off with the resin. We're now putting a induction sealed foil here, so I'll just cut that out. Like I said, it's absolutely harmless. So I'm gonna pour that in here, and I'm actually gonna leave a little bit in the jug, and I'll show you why. Next is paint. This is like mixing pancakes, guys. So I like to add my two liquids first, the resin and the paint. Therefore, I can then introduce the powder later on and blend it all together like we're making pancakes or gravy. And I'm gonna shake it up, or shake it out the best I can. But if you've ever done any painting before, you know there's a lot of paint left in here. Although somewhat empty, technically it's not empty. There's a lot of paint in there on the sidewalls. So when you're talking about a light color like this, a good idea is to take this extra resin that I left, and that's right, we're gonna pour it in here. And now I'm gonna put the cap on it. Give that a good, make sure that cap's on pretty good, okay? But then just give it a good shake. Okay, and you're gonna see how much color we got back out of this, okay? So, okay. So this, again, will help you get what you paid for as far as paint goes and encourage the best possible color match. But I have some other tips about how to get a good color match on my paint video. So again, give that a watch, guys. So I'm gonna set this paint can aside now, and I'm gonna go to the powder, okay? This is hog-tied right here with like a metal staple kind of thing. You don't really have to worry about messing with that. What I like to do is just rip the corner. So a lot of people see this two-component system, this part A, part B, and they ask, oh, is it an epoxy? Not an epoxy, it's actually far from that. This is all water-based acrylic composite technology, and you know, it's not like an epoxy where you got to use it or lose it. The pot life on this is about 24 hours if you take care of it. Put the lid on it, bring it inside, keep it out of the direct sunlight. But now that I've added the powder, there's a party going on in here, guys. So I got my drill ready to start blending. And you would never want to add the powder and then, you know, go take a nap or go to lunch. You want to start mixing it immediately. All right, guys, I'm gonna start cutting in. Got my mini roller. I got a brush in my pocket in case I need it. And I also like to keep a damp rag in my pocket because you never know what's gonna happen. If you get cool on something you don't want it on, you can usually get it off fairly easy if you catch it early. So keep a damp rag in your back pocket. That's just a pro tip. And I'm gonna try to set this camera up. I'm just cutting in around the perimeter. Nothing too crazy here, so. All right, folks, so I'm cutting around the perimeter here, the covered patio, and I'm trying to get maybe ½ inch down the side, because then, you know, sod and grass and landscaping is eventually going to come up to this edge. But so I'm only concerned about going, you know, ½ inch down. Like I said, on the perimeter where you can, this is much quicker. This mini roller is much quicker than a brush. But that being said, you do want a brush to get the tight corners like I have there, and also these expansion joints. There's a lot of questions on expansion joints. I'm gonna address that perhaps in another video, but what I like to do during my cut-in is just get the side walls of the joint. That way you have color down in there, okay? So I like to do this with a brush, kind of turn the brush parallel to the expansion joint and just brush it out. That way you get coverage on both of the vertical faces inside the expansion joint. And then of course you'd want to come out here and feather your edges, you know, so you don't have a scar tissue per se when you come to roll your first coat over it. So, all right, folks, we are at the pool giving you an update on the cantilever coping. We got it all taped up, the plastic, it's floating out in the water, and I'll give you a close-up here. You'll see where it's already saved our butts, okay? These are drips and it's catching it. But this is a beach entrance that you walk into, so I'm making sure to not only cut in the vertical, you know, and I'm gonna do 2 coats on that, but I'm also going ahead and putting like an apron out a little bit here, and I'm doing it really thick, you know. I'm putting a little pressure on the roller, making sure to fill the pores of the concrete, and that is the whole purpose of that first coat. You want to put it out as much as the concrete desires. You know, you want to feed the porosity of the concrete, especially on that first coat. So you know, this job is nearly 2,000 square feet. I brought, I think, 11 buckets for this. I just want to make sure I have 2 really good coats on it. But there's the update on the cantilever. We're gonna make our way around, and I still gotta roll the first coat over here. Brushing out all the expansion joints first, just to get a good thick coat on the bottom, because these accumulate water over time, so you want good protection down there. We've taped up all these plastic drains. Okay, so I'm gonna get going on this first coat in here. Okay, everybody. We are working on our first coat here. We're closing in on it, and I just want to show you some rolling techniques that I think you know, are very important really on the first coat and the second coat. But the first coat, really, I'm gonna dunk this roller in here. First of all, this is the opposite of interior painting, as I mentioned before. I'm gonna dunk this roller directly in the bucket. I'm gonna pretty much submerge it, okay? What I like to do is put it down in the middle of the area. I'm just gonna decide, you know, I'm gonna do that bare area right there. I'd like to put it down in the middle. And then I just kind of spread it out. Where you put it down initially is gonna be the thickest spot. So as I move out to the exterior here, or the perimeter, my roller is gonna dry out. So I wanna quickly move back to where I first put it down, and that will reload my roller with this excess product in the middle. And on your first coat, you can see I'm going like sideways, diagonal, back and forth, whatever I gotta do to really fill the pores of the concrete. And most people would just describe this as putting it on thick, okay? That's the easiest way to put it. But really, you're gonna be returning to your bucket frequently to reload your roller. You can kind of drag your roller like this to fill little pores in the concrete. But for the most part, you don't wanna let your roller dry out. Okay, and just be somewhat consistent. When you finally spread it out to where you want it, you want to leave it alone, because especially on a hot day, it's going to want to start drying. And if you continue to overwork the product, it's not going to like that, and you're going to rip it up, and it's going to affect your texture. So once you got it where you want it, you kind of leave it alone. And on your first coat, don't worry about being perfect. You know, put it on wet, put it on thick. But you always got that second coat to be really consistent, and that second coat is going to go a lot further. So for example, I think we brought 11 or 12 buckets out here. We're probably going to use 7 of them on the first coat. We'll probably only need 4 or 5 for the second coat. One more time, I'll show you. We'll just work on this square here. Expansion joint to expansion joint is what I like to focus on. That's my working area. We got a pretty big area there, so I'm going to submerge the roller all the way. And I'm gonna throw it right here in the middle, okay? You can see my roller's kind of squeegeeing at first. It looks real thick, but I'm gonna push it to the outside. See, my roller's too dry. This is telling me it's too dry. Right here, it's telling me it's too dry, so I need to return to my wet zone, get some more. Still a little thick in there, so I'll pick some up with my roller, bring it out here, go back. Now I'm gonna have to return to the bucket. My roller's too dry. Pull it over the edge a little bit for the best cosmetic result. And then they're gonna fill this in with landscaping. It's gonna look really good. Got a thick spot down here. Another term I like to use is push the puddle, okay? So if you have a puddle like this, you can push it. And that's a good way to fill the pores in the concrete too. Push the puddle until you see that consistent finish just kind of reveal itself to you. And it'll let you know if it's too thick, because it'll look wavy. And it'll let you know if it's too thin, because you'll be able to see the surface underneath the concrete, or perhaps an old cool deck or a knockdown that you might be resurfacing. So there you go, just work in sections. I like to say don't out-punt your coverage. That's a football reference, but if you don't watch football, basically just means don't get ahead of yourself. You know, if it's not absolutely perfect, that's fine, because it might look a little irregular right here, but if you look around on our first coat, it's gonna, as it cures, it's gonna self-level to an effect, and it's gonna look really nice, especially when that second coat goes down. So just stay tuned, and we'll be back when the second coat goes on. All right, guys. We're done with the first coat. Check it out. Now, like I might have said prior, the second coat is really where the magic happens, okay? What I wanted to add to my last little clip about rolling techniques on your first coat, don't think of it as painting. You know, we are using rollers and brushes, and it's similar to painting as far as the application method, but don't think of it as painting. Think of it as applying a new surface. You know, you're putting on a new surface on this thing, and the product will allow for that. You know, it can build on itself and and go a little thicker. So you are filling the pores in the concrete, applying a fresh new surface to this thing. So think of it that way, other than painting. Maybe that'll help you visualize it in your own head, but that's how I like to think of it. We're gonna eat some Firehouse subs real quick, and then we're gonna hop on the second coat, and then I'll probably come back tomorrow and apply the clear sealer, but we'll see what happens. This all has 2 coats on it. The hard part is done. Ryan is over here finishing up the last of it, and tomorrow we'll be coming out here to apply the clear sealer. And that's just 2 thin coats, and it's the quickest, easiest part of the whole thing. So we're gonna document that too, but just thought I'd give you a little view. Check out this house too. Just a beautiful house. Love how these roofs like jet out a little bit. Nice, but stay tuned. Tomorrow we're gonna wrap it up, show you the finished product. Okay, everybody, we're out here and we're putting down the sealer. So we got a 2-man system here. One is spraying and the other is coming back with the 3/8 inch nap roller and just kind of smoothing it out. Or one guy will go to the right, spray a little bit, and then they'll kind of play some musical chairs back and forth as they come along. So one thing about the sealer is that you want to again put it on thin during the hottest part of the day, 2 thin coats. And if you look back here where we've done, you might be able to see, you know, there's going to come a point where you look back and you're going to see irregularities, you know, of it drying. It's going to kind of look patchy. The light's going to hit it different, and it looks like what we call flashing in the paint industries, where it's kind of inconsistent when the light hits it and stuff. But don't panic, because it will all dry clear, so you don't really need to be as diligent with your wet overlaps, lines, roller marks, and things like that. But of course you want to do it, you know, as neatly as you can. But yeah, don't panic, because both the cool and the sealer will do that kind of flashing effect. But if you put it on right, you put it on thick and wet as far as the cool goes, you're going to look back and it's just all going to blend in beautifully. See the lines? Those will all blend in as you go. So, but everything's looking really good so far. We did the vertical cantilever edge first with the sealer, just like a cut in. But look at the texture, you know, of this product. It's completely resurfaced the concrete, and it's got this nice non-slip texture. Looks really nice. So I like this color. This color is Repose Gray, R-E-P-O-S-E, from Sherwin-Williams, if you were wondering. I know there's probably going to be a lot of y'all who want this color. Just make sure it matches your siding, your trim, your natural features like this rock. You know, I think this color was chosen off the same color card as this color, so off the same family. Got the tongue and groove wood up there, looks so nice. Really like this house. Hey everybody, just wanted to show you this. A good practice is to prevent any pooling of the sealer in these expansion joints. And a good way to do that is just have a paintbrush on hand when you're going around, in your back pocket perhaps. And if this happens, just reach down there real quick. Real easy. But if it dries too thick, you might see a milky white, cloudy finish. So, all right everybody, we're pulling the tape off. Got to get this orange tape off, but prior to coating and triple crown, we protected these with tape, okay? Just because triple crown will attack aluminum. These are brass, just to be safe. tape these off. A good way to do that is just slap a piece of tape over this, take a little pocket knife, cut around the perimeter, remove the trim, and then you got a perfect little circle. Did the same thing for the skimmer covers, and same thing for this plastic drain. We just took the tape off this. Look how good our tape lines are. It's just really nice. Nice and tidy. But this has 2 coats of sealer on it. Took the tape off these guys. I've seen those coated before, by the way. Just keep in mind, it won't bond as well to that plastic as it does concrete, but if you want that look, you can do it. And guys, just look at this texture right here. I mean, it's just a very consistent, pronounced new surface on this thing. I mean, and that is what you get with 2 coats with a 3/4 inch nap roller, 2 wet coats. Remember, follow my rolling techniques, and I mean, this job is just perfect. Made it blend in perfectly. But I mean, if you follow my little tips here, you're gonna be a happy camper too. And just keep a wet edge like you're mowing the grass, you know. Don't hop around, just be cohesive in your method. Just back and forth like a typewriter, and you're gonna be really happy with this stuff. So it's satisfying, isn't it? This is the best part of the job, so it means you're almost finished. Guys, this is a drain pipe from an air conditioning unit. It was dropping water, which will interfere with both the cool and the sealer. So I just put a little rag under here, caught any drips. First of all, ask the homeowner to turn it off. Guys, we also take these off. You know, I put it right on this PVC line. Did a pretty good job. Got some pretty good lines there. Keep in mind, if you get too much buildup right here, that your skimmer covers might not close all the way. No big deal. You can just sand this down, any residue, and that'll fix it. But we got all the tape off over here. Nice, clean cantilever edge. Look, no drips in the pool. Perfect tape line. Just awesome. Hope you guys like this. Hey y'all, I just want to, if you don't care about the science and all the chemistry behind these products, you can skip this part. I just want to spend like 60 seconds on it. Tell you the difference between the cool and the sealer, because it's really neat, you know, how they're both formulated and how they complement each other. A lot of people ask me, do I need the sealer? And it's a must, you know, it is a must. And it looks so much better with that sealer on it, it really does. But you know, they complement, they're meant for one another. They are soulmates. They were made for each other, because the cool is, of course, it's a lot thicker, it's textured, and sometimes when it cures, it's pretty porous, believe it or not, to an extent, okay? And those pores are great places for, you know, stuff to, you know, for things to harbor in there, like dirt and things. So the sealer is water thin, so the sealer is going to go into those little pores, those microscopic pores, just as water would. They take the same passageways as water would, but when it dries, it leaves deposits of that solids there, of its solids there, which is a polymer based. But the polymers that we use in cool are different than the ones in the sealer. And you know, polymers you just think of plastics, okay? All plastics have polymers in there, and if you heat up plastics, eventually it comes to a temperature where they get warm and malleable, they get softer, and the way you kind of quantify the hardness of polymers is something called TG, and that stands for transition to glass, and TG is always a value of temperature, and it's always by Celsius. Okay, so TG, you know, so transition to glass. And so if a polymer has a -17 degrees Celsius, that's about 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That means when it gets to 0 degrees Fahrenheit outside, that polymer is going to be as hard as glass. So the transition to glass temperature. So, you know, the polymers we use in Cool, they're like 1 to 5, anywhere from 1 to 10. It's a blend, but, you know, so that means when it's, you know, 40, 50, 60 degrees outside, it's going to be as hard as glass. But the sealer we use is way harder. It's more like a 15 degree Celsius TFG. So that means when it's, you know, 70 degrees, 80 degrees outside, it's gonna be hard as glass, okay? If this makes sense to you, that basically, you know, the Cool needs a little more elastic qualities to it to deal with the natural movement of the concrete, right? But that sealer, although it's way thinner, it's penetrating that Cool, leaving its deposits there with a TG of around 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So that means when you're out there on a typical day, that stuff is just like hard, you know? And it's just a beautiful thing, because that's everything that, you know, on the very top where that sealer is, that's where you need that hardness. So you might not care about this, but that's the kind of thought we put into this system when developing it. So, you know, sorry to nerd out on you real quick about polymers, but some people might want to know that. I think it's pretty cool. So there you go. All right, guys, all good things must come to an end, but I wanted to leave you with something. You know, I hope you like this video. I hope it helped you out. If you're a do-it-yourselfer homeowner and you're considering this product, you know, I just want to say this product has kind of changed the game in a lot of ways. But, you know, previously in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, to get something that actually stays cool around a pool deck and would perform for the long haul, you know, you'd have to hire somebody to put a knockdown finish on it, plain and simple, which are, you know, the stucco-ish kind of textured products, and they're very labor intensive to install, and you have to have a skilled applicator, which costs money, right? This product is kind of the first do-it-yourself product that, you know, offers that type of longevity, durability, but also keeps the surface cool. It uses a different method to dissipate heat, but it's kind of changed the game where, you know, a lot of people can't afford to hire or don't want to hire a skilled applicator and pay what all comes with that, you know? This product allows you to do it yourself, and that's why I do these videos, so that you can, you know, be fully prepared and save a lot of money, you know, and get something that's really good out there. If you're a contractor watching this, you know, perhaps you're just a pool maintenance person, you know, you just clean pools, but you're looking to differentiate your business, bring a little more coin into your pocket, and you know, let me help you. Let me show you how to do this, and you don't have to be a coatings professional to do this stuff, you know, as long as you follow the protocol. You know, the big thing here, as I mentioned, you know, several times in this video, make sure you got the right paint. I was using A100 from Sherwin-Williams, satin finish. Make sure you're not too hot out there. You know, I was in 80-degree weather yesterday applying this stuff, and it applied great, you know, but you know, if you're out in Phoenix, Arizona, there's no way you can apply this stuff above 90 degrees and, you know, blistering hot sunshine coming down on you. There's just no way. So you'd have to split your coats up into 2 different days, perhaps, mornings or evenings, when you know, the concrete's had a chance to cool down and so forth. And then the other big thing is the roller techniques. You know, I like, you know, putting a focus on that. If this video brings you anything, I'd like to focus on the rolling techniques. You know, 2 wet coats. You know, sometimes you got to put a little pressure on the roller to fill those little pores and those little, you know, cavities in the surface, and that's fine. But for the most part, you're letting the weight of the roller do it, and you're pushing the puddle. You know, pushing the puddle is, I like that saying. You just kind of flood the surface when you do that, and any thick spots you can then smooth out and make consistent. But that pushing the puddle helps you fill all the little cavities in the surface. So, and in keeping a wet edge, just using standard paint practice, these are all things that's really going to help you out and give you something you absolutely love out there. We get a lot of love mail from people who do this themselves, and they say, man, I never thought I'd, you know, be able to do this, but I absolutely love it. And, you know, I just want to say thank you, you know, to everyone. There's going to be a point when, you know, you're out there applying this stuff, and you look back at what you've done, and you're coming to an end, and you're really going to be proud of yourself. You know, there's definitely a level of gratification that comes with this, and I really love, like, applying. You know, I think I could, you know, make a business myself out of this if I didn't have, you know, all this other stuff going on. But I really like it, and I'd encourage you to call me or Ryan at 888-776-2242. We're gonna walk you through this whole thing, man, and give you the best deal around on this material, and we'll ship it to your front door free of charge. So give us a shout, ask us any kind of questions, send us pictures of your pool deck, whatever you have going on out there. We will tell you straight up if our product is not a good candidate, or if you need further preparations like removal or whatever, you know, before you go put any kind of product on there. Even if you're considering another product, call us up. We're glad to give you our 2 cents. And yeah, I mean, the job turned out great. It turned out really, really good, and I'm proud of it, you know. So I hope Kevin likes it. That's the homeowner, and he was kind of peeking out the window, and he was just tickled to death. They love their color choice. I love their color choice, and went with everything surrounding the home. So yeah, I hope you like this, and call us anytime. Thanks again for everything. Bye.